Hey guys, welcome back. So, if you've been following me on Instagram, you know by now that I like to make these little videos where we try to identify a bird in less than 60 seconds. So, I'll go out into the woods, we'll listen for a bird call or a bird song. Hopefully, the bird cooperates with us, and then we identify the bird. And I don't know if you guys have been enjoying those videos, but you might be asking yourself, why am I even doing that? Because after all, I told you earlier that Monastero is really about cultivating ways that we can connect and reconnect with nature. So what is it about learning bird calls that connects us with nature? Here's what I would say. This is the sort of the analogy I would give you. If you live in a neighborhood, you might have zero connection with those people whatsoever, right? You might just drive to your house, go in your driveway, go in your garage, never speak to anyone. Maybe you're like the ultimate introvert. And you don't have any connection to any of the people there. You don't know any of their names. You don't know anything about their families. You don't know where they're from. Now, you might also be the kind of person who drives through the neighborhood and maybe waves, says hi. You might not actually know the person's name who you're waving to, but you have some connection with those people. And then we have like a whole nother level, right? Which is you're close to your neighbors. Like you live in this community of people and you get to know them. You talk to them. You get to know where they're from. You know about their family. You certainly know their names, right? Well, when you have that connection with people in your neighborhood like that, you feel more connected to where you're living. And I think you probably know where I'm getting at. When you go through the woods and you're just walking, you might say to yourself, well, I feel connected. I'm not wearing my earbuds. I'm not scrolling on my phone. And I'm just walking on my trail and I hear the birds and I see the squirrels and I might find a snake or something like that. And I feel connected to these things. And I would say you're doing better than most people, certainly in the United States. I think I told you in one of my first videos, I'll throw the link up on the screen now, that more than 90% of our time as Americans is spent inside. And of the 10% that's left that we say we spend outdoors, a good portion of it might be doing an activity, right? Doing something. So if you're walking on your trail and you're not doing the earbuds, you're not out there for a particular purpose, you're just undoing, you're just out there walking, no purpose whatsoever. Yeah, you probably feel a nice connection with the community that you are in. That's the biological community that you're a part of. But just like that neighborhood with people in it, there's a whole nother level of connection. So when you walk out there into that biological community and you hear birds and you go, wow, I heard a lot of cool birds out there today. I have no idea what they were, but it was pretty. It's kind of like going to a symphony and going, wow, that was really cool music. And then you talk to somebody else who is a musician or somebody else who can pick out, the cello and the violin and the bass and all the different instruments. Their perception of that concert is going to be much more rich and full. That's kind of what's happening when you go out into the biological community, which is full of thousands and thousands of neighbors, birds, trees, plants, insects, reptiles, mammals, all that stuff. You start to learn their names, you start to learn where they're from, and you start to learn about their families. That's what we're doing here when I say, hey, what kind of bird is that? Oh, it's a summer tanager. And you might go, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. But I don't really care. But then what if I tell you, what's cool about the summer tanager is it only comes around for a little bit of time while it's breeding. And for the rest of the year, like in the wintertime, it's what they call a neotropical migrant. It migrates all the way to Central and South America and it hangs out there for the winter, feeding on things like insects. And then it flies back up here during the breeding season and it has its babies. And you hear it like in South Carolina here, we'll hear it around June. It has this beautiful robin-like call. The male is like this beautiful red. And suddenly now you know something about the bird. You know its name. You know where it's from. and you know about its breeding behavior, you suddenly now are friendly with that neighbor. And what's different about going out into the woods with the neighbors that are in your biological community, and it doesn't have to be woods, you could be at the beach, whatever your favorite nature spot is that you go to on a regular basis. What's cool about that spot and those neighbors is when you go out there, you can just be. You don't have to worry about judgment coming from your neighbors. You don't have to worry about your neighbor having a nicer car or a bigger house. There's no feelings of anxiety coming from, am I going to be accepted? Because guess what? This is what it's about. It's just coming out to this biological community for which you as a human belong. We're not separate from this biological community. We're part of it. And when you're out here in nature, that's what it's all about. It's about seeing, feeling, and hearing, and sensing all of those things in that biological community. And I would challenge you guys to pay attention to the things that are out there. Pay attention to the sounds. Try to see if you can start to identify those birds. And if you can't identify the bird, it's okay. Next time you go out there, see if you hear that same bird. Or if it's a tree, download an app. There's plenty of apps out there where you can identify what the tree is called. Start to learn your neighbors' names. Learn about their lives. And when you start to do that on a regular basis, you will feel more deeply connected to nature. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time, all right?